Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of the CRM database. In this session, we're going to look at creating forms that will interact or input data into the tables that we created earlier. So a quick look at the form customers. So this is the interface to put data into the various tables that we created in the last session. So I have a button there for add new customer, next record, and find company. I've added 5 companies, so we've got some information there, so you can just click on a company and it'll show you what each of those companies has booked, if anything. So this company has asked information about Access and Excel. One of them it's booked, one's pending. The one that's booked is listed underneath. And then the market research at the bottom there, website and then word of mouth or used before, is ticked. And if I go on to the next record, you can see that information is filled in for each client. Next record, and so on, like so. So what we're going to do is recreate this form so you can see how I did it. But what I won't do is spend ages doing the formatting to make it pretty. So I'll just leave it fairly rough and ready, but you'll get the idea. If I close this form down, quickly look at the tables that we did before. So we had a booking table. There's some information in there. Now I have added an extra column, this total column, and I've also changed the details in this column. So before it was just adding 20% on, but it only needs to add 20% on for VAT if the company is paying VAT. So a quick design view on that one. If we go into design view and have a quick look at that. So VATable, yes and no. VAT has now got this if statement in front of it. So if I click into there and then just open that expression builder up a bit so you can see it. So it's only going to add the VAT if VATable is true. If VATable is not true, it's not going to add anything. So I've just added that in there. And remember, you have to put the field names in square brackets. So if VATable equals true, it's got a tick, add the VAT, otherwise don't add the VAT. And then the total column is adding the amount plus VAT. So if the VAT has got anything in it, it will add it together. So that's that one. I didn't make any changes, but I'll say yes to that. I've added a few extra courses. It's just a lookup table. Customers. I haven't really done anything to customers. It's still the same as it was. Marketing, if I have a quick look at that, that is the same as it was as well. Nothing added there. But obviously you can add things if you realize that you're not capturing a certain type of data. Now status, I did add a few things in there. So what I've added is what was the information requested, and then I've got a drop down list there which you can select multiple options on. So this one, for example, has got Excel and Access selected, and I've added a notes column. I also got rid of the column that was there before. Can't remember what it was called now, but I got rid of it, and I've just got callback 1, 2 and 3 with dates next to it. And again, as you start using the database, you may want to come back and add or delete extra things that you find that you're not using. You only really get to know that sort of thing when you start using test data like I am at the moment. And when I do the next session, I may come back and delete or change things again. It's a slight pain, but you have to do it. Now, how have I set this up? So if I go into design, on the initial info requested, it was a lookup looking at the courses table, which is that one I've just shown you. But the difference is I've got allow multiple values set to yes. So when you select anything in here, you can tick multiple things and it will allow you to do that. And then the notes field is where it says on the tin, you add in notes. On the tutor table, I've added a couple of tutors just to give a few more people, but nothing drastic in that one. Just a quick reminder of the relationships that we did. So we've got customers as your main table, and then falling off that is one-to-many links to the bookings, to the marketing, and to the status. I mean, marketing, when I started filling this in, I'm not sure whether I would keep adding how did you hear about us every single time if they heard about us off the web. Every other time once they've done a booking is going to be because they've used us before. So I don't know whether I would want to capture that second, third and fourth data if they book multiple times, but It's there to be filled in if it's required. Okay, save that change. Right, so to create a form, so basically we're going to recreate this customer's form in a rough and ready version. So I'm going to create form design, and the property sheet is already on, so I'll just open that up again, and record source is going to be customers. The fields are there, so just select all the fields and drop them on like that. And then obviously some of these fields are going to need to be bigger if they're capturing large data sets, like in a web address or an email. Now, it's a bit fiddly sometimes to get your mouse to sit right on top of the box to widen them, but I'll just quickly do this. I won't spend too long on it. Company name obviously needs to be widened. So that'll do for that. And now the subform. So the subforms from up here, subform sub-report. So the first one is just going to go along there. You'll have to resize it in a minute. So these are the ones I've already got, but I'll go get one from scratch. So let's do the status one first. It is the status one, is it? I can't look at it. Yes, it is. I've got the things there. So I want all the fields across. I don't need a customer ID field across because it's going to be part of this subform, so that would just be a duplication. It picks up the link that we have in the relationship window, so that's great. And then finish. I can get rid of that. Now it looks like a form in the back of this, but it's going to be sitting as a table. Just make it a little bit wider. Have a quick look at that. Yeah, now I've got a value there. So I just have to go into design and see what's causing that. I'm just going to delete that and add it again. And then just select everything. And then get it to stack. Okay. Let's have a look at that one. For requesting, now it's working, so I don't know why that didn't pick that up, but it seems to be okay now. I just need to move that back across. Record of inquiry, yeah, so I'll just save that for now. So I'll call this FRM customers 1, customers 1, so I've already got one. And I need to make this a bit wider and less deep, so if I go back into the design view and click on this, get rid of the field list for a second, scroll down, click on my form, subform. Now quite often finding these little icons to adjust this is quite difficult. It's because there's no space really for you to get below it, so it's best to make the form a bit deeper, and then you can have a look at that, see what this looks like. That's okay, it's probably a bit too big, but it doesn't matter. Now I want to get rid of these navigation options down the bottom there, so if I put my property sheet on, click on the form, this control, and record selected is set to yes. I'm just going to change that to no. And if you decide later on when you start using the database that that is not good, you can just come back in and put them back on. So they're off there, that's great. So if I just go through the customers, you can see some of the data is already there, and that's a blank one. Go back to the first person. So that's the first one. Now we want the bookings subform in there, so we'll go back up to the top and we find the subform icon, draw a rectangle. This time you're going for the bookings table, which is there. You don't want the customer ID because it's already linked via the relationship. It's picking that up there, look. I'll just go finish, and then you can get rid of the the title. You don't have to get rid of the title, it's totally up to you. So I'm already going to use this opportunity while this is still on the screen to get rid of these navigation options, and then I need to do the same sort of thing with this one. Make the form space a little bigger, click on that box, pick up the handle on the right hand side and take it across a bit further than the other one, I think, probably, and it doesn't need to be as deep. This is the burn of my life trying to find that. Okay, let's have a quick look at that one. So you can, student numbers doesn't need to be that big. Location, I'll just bring them in. You're going to get hashes if there's not enough space, but you can just get this so you can manage it and then save it. Total, it's a bit further across, bring that back. That's okay. Go back into design, just move it across a little bit, and then come down to do the last one, which was next one, marketing. I need them all across. Take the customer ID back over. Next, picks up the relationship. I'm just going to finish at that point. I don't think that needs to be anywhere near the same sort of length, but you get the idea. You can spend quite a considerable amount of time. Like I've just clicked off that, click this button in the corner to select this object, and you can just make it smaller. I don't want this subtotal there, I can go. And I also want the navigation options off, so the property sheet on, format, click on this record selectors, no, have a quick look. Scrolling down, so this one's a bit too big, so let's just make that a little bit smaller. In fact, I could probably make them all a little bit smaller. Click on that one. Then I should be able to just move this one up and then do the same on that one. And then I should be able to get the other one and just push that up a little bit. And I'm not going to spend any more time than that moving those about. That looks okay, so I'm going to save that for now. Now I need to put those buttons in the search box that was up there. So back into design, command button. So this is just going to be a new, find new record, add new record. So add customer, that'll do. And then another one. Find next. So I'll just go to the next record, finish. And you just highlight those two and use the arrange tab to make them nice and even. And then the other thing that I had on my form was a lookup, a find or a search. So that was design, that was a combo box, which is this one, combo box, and just draw a rectangle there. So these are the options. I don't want any of these, I just want to use a find, and I want to find company next. So there's a list of your companies, it's hiding the, so it's hiding the key. Find company, finish, and let's just move that and put this on top. That doesn't need to be that big, so I'll just make it a little bit smaller and have a quick look. Does that work? Pick a company, Yeah. Also, if you just type a letter in there and press enter, it'll go to that company if it's the right one. So that's the lookup. So now if we want to create a new customer, we go add customer, it goes blank. So let's add a customer. So we'll call this Wright Brothers, address 1 Red Street. It's quite hard to remember addresses. Call it Bradford, postcode BD2 RT, email info@wrightbros.com, website www.wrightbros.com. So I'm making all these up. Hopefully there's nobody with that email address. But there is. So let's say that they've just inquired. So initial inquiry date was today. Now pending, I don't want that there, I want that over here. Let's save that and save this form as well. So what are they after? I need this over here as well, so let's move this back. So they're after Access and Excel. Oops. Access. Just leave it as well, let's do Access and Excel. Okay. Want training in Leeds. Callback not needed. So let's say that these ones book, so they book it. So now you can enter the date of training. So this one, let's say they want the training today. Highly unlikely. You can select the courses. So they can't do both courses at the same time. So let's say they wanted to book 6 students on Access Intro, tutor me, no PO number, so move across. So you need to adjust these widths, obviously. 6 students, let's say that's £500. They are paying VAT, so that gives you the VAT total, and the total at the end there reflects that, bringing those columns in. And also, let's say the 11th, 08/2020, they want Excel training. Excel intro is what they requested. You fill that in. Still in Leeds. Different tutor. Let's say it's a different tutor. Brian Green. No PO number. Some companies don't use PO numbers. It is VATable. Let's bring that column in a bit. And that one a bit. So you can see everything. So it's automatically, the calculation fields are working everything out at the end there. So that's how that bit works. You might have asked them, or you should have asked them where they found your information. So let's say it was the website. So I mean, they found the website. So this course is going to be used before, you know. So this slightly becomes negated. It's only the initial inquiry and the initial booking that you're probably after. So whether you fill the rest of this in is just totally up to you. But that's so far how this is working. So the next phase is that's the data input. The next phase is to get the business analysis and the trends out of this database. So we want to know what people are booking. We want to know how they're finding us, and we want to know how many courses and how often they come back, and that sort of information. Also, how long do they take from initial inquiry to booking? All those sort of things we can look at doing on this database. We're setting up queries to do that and then running reports off that. But that's going to be on the next session, looking at the queries and maybe some of the reports that we can pull from that. But that's the end of this session. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and thank you for your time.